Hello ma'am, my name is Ajay Jadhav and today's date is 3rd October and I will choose topic internal thread communication. Internal thread communication is a cooperation of about and allowing of a synchronize of a thread and communicate with each other and cooperation with internal thread communications. It is a mechanism which is a thread as paused into the running into the critical sections is paused into the critical sections and another thread allow to internal work and has to the same critical situations as execute into the implementations of following methods and object class await method as a await class as a await method as now as following as a current of release into the wait is another thread as to util in another thread invoke is waiting to notify as method has notify all the methods for objects and specify the amount of time eclipse has eclipse as a current thread a class has a current thread must be as even as a object monitors so we can has to same called from synchronize which is a method only is otherwise we can otherwise throws exception of methods wake up a single thread waiting of object as a monitor to the thread and waiting of object as to them and chosen we can awake of a choice and to ability and occur of a discretion and implementations as thread acquire into the lock has to acquire as to the thread and goes into the waiting of a state and we can call wait of a methods we can as a call of a methods object otherwise release into the lock of existing we can has to notify all the methods as to thread as move into the notify as running state the thread as a running state now we can has to available to the acquire log acquire log is after our completions as a task to the thread and release into the existing monitors as state as object sections as a thread and communicate with corporations of all about allowing of a synchronization thread. The synchronization thread with communication with each other and cooperation with internal thread. The internal thread has to communicate with a mechanism which is a thread as a pause means thread as a stop of a running state and a critical section has to another thread to the allowing of a internal or lock into the critical sections. Execute implementation of following methods. The following methods implementation of a following method which as object await of a clause has to current thread and release into the lock. Await has to until we can has to util has to another thread to notify a method of or notify all the methods and this is object to the specify amount of time we can has to eclipse it is a time of a specified to amount of times has to eclipse has through the eclipse had to the one object as to monitor called as a synchronization method that is called as a synchronization method. Only otherwise we can has to throw up a thread throws the exception of a method and single thread that waiting into the waiting for the another thread to current thread as working to the some situation that will be a monitor stage through waiting into the object as choose into the awake has to the choose to ability has to occur to the discretions and implementations of the description that thread and enter into acquired lock. Thank you, ma'am.